Aloha, everyone. This is Chesapeake Movie Thoughts, and today I'm hearing a lot of buzz about Black Panther, and so I thought I've seen it. So I thought I would do a little spoiler talk about it. So this is a spoiler talk. You have been warned. If you haven't seen the movie, probably want to just turn off my video right now. Come back to me later after you've seen it. But everybody seems to love this movie. I'm hearing a lot of people say it's their favorite Marvel movie ever. I won't go that far personally. I guess I love my Guardians movies and my Avengers movies too much for that. But it's an excellent movie. I definitely really liked it a lot. It's an excellent film. I was really surprised by the characterization of Black Panther because it wasn't exactly what I was expecting from what I saw of him in Captain America Civil War. And by the way, I guess there'll be some minor spoilers for Captain America Civil War here as well. But when we saw him introduced in Captain America Civil War, he was bent on revenge. He was like obsessed with revenge. He wanted to kill Bucky because Bucky had been framed for the murder of T'Chaka, his father. Of course, he was innocent, but Black Panther was certain of his guilt and was out to kill him. So at that point, he's like one of those revenge-driven superheroes. And we see that a lot. We see a lot of superheroes that are primarily motivated by revenge. But here's where the spoiler comes in. At the end of the movie, he swears off of revenge. At that point, he's seen what revenge can do to a person, and he decides he'll have no more of it. And good for him. I was really glad to see that in Civil War. And it's that Black Panther from the end of Civil War that we pick up with in the Black Panther movie. And in this movie, not only is he no longer willing to follow a path of revenge, he's like this complete paragon of virtue, which I love in a superhero. It's one of my favorite superheroes, like Superman and Captain America. The extremely virtuous, the strong moral core superhero is what I love to see, and that's what we saw with Black Panther. We saw he was doing his best to act with wisdom and compassion and mercy throughout the whole film, because it was the right thing to do. And because he was king, it was even more important, because if you're king and you do the wrong thing, it affects a lot more people. And that's why it shook him so much. I think when he learns about the mistakes that his father made as king, as his father was a good man, but he was not perfect, and he made some pretty bad mistakes, just a few pretty bad mistakes, which were coming back to haunt Wakanda for this movie. I mean, he was responsible basically for the motivation for the villain, Killmonger, in this movie. He had killed Killmonger's father when he was a boy. This is T'Chaka, the former Black Panther, the former king, that did this, and he did it to defend someone. He did it to save a life. So he may not have had a choice in that matter, but he did also leave the child to his fate. He left the child behind to protect Wakanda's secrets, and that's not a good call. I don't know if the mother was in the picture or not. I'm assuming the way they are acting that the kid was basically just orphaned when that happened, and if that's the case, then leaving him behind, definitely the wrong thing to do, and the kid resented it, and he grows up to be a supervillain. And this is a comic book movie, so yeah, that's what happens when you make those kind of mistakes. So yeah, that was bad. And T'Challa, the Black Panther, who looked up to his father as as a role model. This is something that's not easy for him to take. That his father made such a bad mistake, but he tries his best to make up for it. And I was so touched at the end when after the battle with Killmonger has finished and he strikes the lethal blow, and he carries his dying enemy outside to see the sunset before he dies. And I'm like, oh, there's a hero. I mean, there's a hero for you. That was incredible. That's what I want to see in a superhero movie. I really do. But in addition to that, you got this great hero with Black Panther. And okay, I guess I've touched on the villain. This is another thing everybody's buzzing about. They say this is the best villain. I'm talking about Killmonger, best villain in the MCU. Again, I'm not with them on that. I mean, again, I liked him. I didn't love him. I actually liked Claw, Ulysses Claw, better as a villain because he was kind of nuts. He was fun to watch. I mean, I liked it in the scene in the South Korea where they're having the meeting, and he says to him, "What's quite an entourage you have there? You have a mixtape coming out?" And he's just joking, but Claw is like, "Oh, yeah, I do. Hey, give him the link to download the CD." And he's like, No, that's not what I meant. Please don't make me listen to your music." That was great. But yeah, Killmonger was pretty much all serious, so you didn't get any of that kind of fun out of him. I mean, I understand he's got depth to him, and he's an excellent foil for Black Panther. He's really good as a Black Panther villain, as a villain specifically for Black Panther, because he's the Bizarro, he's the Venom, he's the dark reflection of the hero. So he works well for Black Panther, but I just have a hard time envisioning him, being brought back. Of course, this is spoilers. He did get killed off at the end, but it's a comic book movie. If they want him back, they can get him. But I have a hard time envisioning him coming back in another movie, like an Avengers movie, and facing off against I don't know, Thor or something like that. I just have trouble seeing it. It seems he's just too closely tied to Black Panther. He's really, I think, only interesting if he's fighting Black Panther. That's my take on it. But I mean, that doesn't mean I like the movie any less. The movie is great. The supporting cast, specifically the team of, I don't want to call them sidekicks. They don't really feel like sidekicks, but he's got this support team for Black Panther. And there's this scene. The thing I remember most about the movie, the scene that sticks out the most, is that you've got this whole kind of James Bond spy thing going on in South Korea. Before they get there, they got a Q scene. They got a scene where his little sister, who is the smart mouth tech genius, Shuri, she's showing him his gadgets and things like that. It's totally a Q scene. And then they go and have this kind of spy moment in a casino in South Korea. It's like taken right out of a James Bond playbook. And it's fantastic. And he's got Shuri, his little sister, backing them up from HQ. He's got with him. He's got his ex-girlfriend, who happens to be a Wakandan spy. So I mean, she knows the territory here. She's a spy, and he's got the general in charge of his team of bodyguards. He's got this Amazonian team of all-female bodyguards, which they kick butt. And the general in particular, and they've got her along. They've got some comedy thrown in there. They've got some great action in this whole spy thing. Great car chase, incredible car chase in this scene. That was my favorite scene in the whole movie, was this whole James Bond action scene. That does lead into I think there's maybe a plot hole. It's it's a nitpick a little, but I think there's a little bit of a plot hole in there. In that Ulysses Claw gets captured, and while he's being interrogated, Killmonger breaks him out, only to kill him, and then take his dead body to Wakanda to get his foot in the door so he can challenge for the throne. And I'm wondering, well, we saw him join Ulysses Claw's crew earlier in the movie. I'm wondering why it took him that long to decide to kill him. That was his plan all along. Kill Ulysses Claw, take him to Wakanda, get your foot in the door. So, I mean, he'd been part of his crew for a while leading up to South Korea. Why does he wait until Black Panther's almost killed him? I mean, he was taking a big chance. Black Panther almost killed him himself. If he does that, I mean, his opportunity to get in the door at Wakanda is gone. So, I mean, he was taking a big chance waiting that long. But anyway, that is just a nitpick, and I've only seen the movie once, so there may be good explanation for that possible plot hole in the movie that I just missed. But yeah, it's something I did think about after the movie. But the movie it's definitely a Marvel movie. It feels a lot like a Marvel movie. It has some small connections to the rest of the Marvel universe. Probably the strongest connection is to Captain America: Civil War. But it's more or less its own thing, though. It does definitely stand alone, and people can see this that have never seen a Marvel movie before and completely understand it and enjoy it. But it also is going to have great ramifications for the Marvel universe. I mean, what's going on here? It was the movie. What's central to the story of the movie is what is going to be the fate of Wakanda. Wakanda basically has 3 roads open to it. Does it continue its long tradition of extreme isolationism and keep hiding from the world, or does it do as Killmonger wants it to do? Does it start a war to control the world and rule it the right way, according to him? And or 3, the path that Black Panther ultimately chooses in the end, does it reveal itself to the world and offer its resources and its wealth as just as a benefit to the rest of the world, just as to lend a helping hand, not to control, but to offer help. And that's ultimately the way he goes. And that's going to have great ramifications for the Marvel Cinematic Universe going through, because the technology is so advanced in Wakanda. Now, it was getting, if you watch the other Marvel movies, technology was making big leaps. Not just from Stark Industries, which had the benefit of Tony Stark's genius, which was part of it, but also these aliens, like the Chitauri, had been leaving behind technology that other people had been finding and studying. I mean, we see that in Spider-Man: Homecoming. And they mention in the Black Panther movie that the rest of the world is catching up. So, but still, the Wakanda technology is still superior enough that it's going to be a game changer for the world and the Marvel universe. I'm wondering if that's going to be a big part of Avengers Infinity War. We've seen in the trailers that at least part of the movie is going to take place in Wakanda. There's going to be a big battle in Wakanda, and maybe that the Wakandan technology is maybe what is the key to defending against Thanos in Infinity War. Could be. A lot of people were speculating that the last Infinity Stone would turn up here, and it didn't. But I mean, the theory is still out there that it may be in Wakanda. Maybe we just didn't see it. The flowers that they use to grant the Black Panther powers to their king, but also B, to communicate with the souls of the departed. They're thinking that that garden, those flowers were growing, and they may have been infused with the power of the Soul Stone, which they think may be buried under the garden or something like that. That's a good theory, and we'll see if that holds out. Going back to the whole fate of Wakanda and how the Black Panther makes that decision. Thinking back on the film, I noticed there was a very clever way that they showed a subtle influence on Black Panther as to what was the right decision to do. It's like they had, because the Wakanda itself is made up of 5 tribes. 4 of them are actively involved in the running of Wakanda, but there's one tribe that they went off into their mountains. They wash the hands of the rest of the tribes, and they sort of are isolated. They do their own thing, and they don't get involved in what's going on with the rest of Wakanda usually. And this is like the ape tribe. I forget what the name they gave them, but their symbol is the ape. We call them, I guess, the ape tribe. When Black Panther is nearly defeated, nearly killed by Killmonger, and then he comes back from that, and he realizes that he's going to need help in order to make things right. And he asks the ape tribe for help, and at first they refuse. But later on, they change their mind and they come in to help in the battle at the end. And I think this is very clever because that like very closely parallels, inside Wakanda, what is going on between Wakanda and the rest of the world. I mean, this ape tribe is to Wakanda what Wakanda is to the rest of the world. It's very strong but very isolated, and it doesn't want to get involved. And that's what Wakanda is to the rest of the world. And I think that because he's seen how much he needed the help of that tribe in a time of crisis, then I think that helped influence T'Challa to make the right decision that to offer Wakanda's help to the rest of the world. So, very clever filmmaking in that. It was an excellent film. There is no way around it. It may be, I hate to say it may be a little bit overhyped. I'm sorry. It may be. But, I mean, much of that hype is deserved. It's like maybe a little bit overhyped. But much of that hype is deserved. And I am looking forward to seeing it again. We're seeing it with the Chesapeake Movie Club, part of our meetup in March. Date yet to be determined. But I am looking forward to it. Anyway, if you haven't seen Black Panther, then probably haven't been watching this, or the whole thing's been spoiled for you. But anyway, it is an excellent movie, definitely worth seeing. Like, comment, subscribe, and that's a wrap.